All right, SEO for wineries. This video is going to explain kind of the do's, the don'ts, the things that a lot of wineries do wrong, and kind of, what are the priorities when it comes to SEO for wineries. There are dozens, hundreds of things that you can do to try to increase your SEO. All of them are not created equal. And a lot of wineries spend a lot of time, money, and energy in the wrong places, which leads to frustration, and it leads to the most important part, not getting the results that you want. So what is the most important aspect of SEO for wineries? And it's the Google Local Pack. The Google Local Pack, you've seen it a million times. This is how people search for things online. They type in things like best wineries in the Willamette Valley, or best wineries in Dundee, or best wineries in Newburgh, or best wineries in Yamhill. As someone who goes wine tasting with my wife quite a bit, we're familiar with the areas, and that's kind of how we searched to start, right? We would just type in best wineries in Willamette Valley, best wineries in McMinnville, and whoever showed up in this Google Local Pack, we considered them first. We'd visit the website, we'd look at reviews, all these different things. This is where the magic happens. And if you're not getting found in this Google Local Pack, you're missing out. Or people searching for wineries near me. Think about people after their second wine tasting. They're sitting in Dundee, maybe at Red Hills Market for lunch, and they're like, let's do one more. And so they pull out their phone, they type in wineries near me or best wineries near me, and the ones that show up are going to potentially get those people coming in. And it's not just when you type in winery near me, it's not just the closest winery that's going to show up. There are a variety of factors that go into it. There might be a winery literally 1 block away, but one 3/4 of a mile away shows up. Why is that the case? There's reasons why, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And so why is this so important is, again, people search for wineries near me, best wineries near me, wineries in city location, whether you're in Oregon, Washington, California as a winery, or other areas. That's how people search. So how do you rank in the Google Local Pack as a winery? How do you rank here? How do you get found there? And it's all about your Google My Business profile. The Google My Business profile is a free profile from Google. If you're a winery, there's a 98% chance you already have one. However, a lot of wineries do Google My Businesses wrong. They don't set them up properly. And based on data, there are basically Google looks at different ranking factors for wineries to determine who ranks here. It depends on your website. It depends on, all of these different things. Google's looking at hundreds and hundreds of different things, but your Google My Business property is between 20 and 30% of all ranking factors to determine who gets found here. So your website is taken into account. All these things are taken into account, but your Google My Business profile is one of the most important things. It's between 20 and 30% of the factors that Google's looking at come from your Google My Business profile. Here's what the back end of a Google My Business profile looks like. This is one for a medical business, but if yours was if you went into yours, it would look the exact same. You can change your winery name. You can change your winery main category, your secondary categories, and you can see here that all of the main, it's very small, but the main category for all of these are wineries. There are secondary categories that you can add, and there are different categories that Google shares. There are wine bars, there are vineyards, there are all these different categories that you can choose. Winery is the most important. There's a number of other things that you can do in your Google My Business. There are a main description. In a lot of wineries, they do this wrong. Again, they add 1 or 2 sentences of we're a winery located in the Willamette Valley, and we serve mainly Pinot Noirs. There are 750 characters that you can choose to write. And so you want to be as descriptive and comprehensive as possible. And this also goes with the services that you offer. A lot of wineries won't add services. They're like, what services do we have to offer? Well, you have tastings, you have potentially group events, you potentially have corporate events, you potentially have vineyard tours, you potentially have all of these different things that you can add as services. And also, again, with the main description, instead of just saying we're a winery, you can get into those details of the different flight options that you have, the different membership options that you have. Providing as much comprehensiveness to Google is what allows you to Google to understand more about your business. And so when your competitor is just saying we're a winery in the Willamette Valley, and you're saying, we do these types of tastings, we mainly have Pinot Noir, we also have Chardonnay, and you're giving all this comprehensive information to Google about what you offer, where you're located, if you require reservations, if you allow walk-ins, all of these different things, Google's going to trust your business over others. With that being said, there are dozens of other winery SEO strategies that you need to consider. Like I said, that's a big portion of it, but it's only 20-30%. There's still 70% of other things that Google's looking at, such as, the content on your website, the schema on your website, the keywords that you have, your name, address, phone number, NAP, consistency, all these different things. So for the sake of this video, I'm only going to talk about 2 of these, and this is just a handful out of the hundreds that Google's looking at. The photos on your website, the meta title, meta description, the title tags of your website, all of these different things Google is looking at. For the sake of this video, I'll just talk about 2 of them. The first one is NAP consistency, name, address, phone number. This screenshot is pulled directly from Google's SEO starter guide. Yes, Google has released a starter guide that they give to businesses who choose to read it, information about how to do SEO right, and wineries are no different. As you can see here, I've highlighted the word trust over and over again. Google's job is to give users the results that are going to be the most helpful for them. And Google needs to trust businesses in order to rank them. And one of the things that comes into play with this is name, address, and phone number. So here's an example of a name, address, and phone number report that we can run to determine your visibility score when it comes to name, address, and phone number. So think about it like this, as a winery, you have a Facebook page, you have an Instagram page, you probably have a Yelp page, you might be listed on local wine directories, all these different things. And on every single one of those, you have your name, you have your address, and you have your phone number. For example, Penner Ash, they might have their name on their Google My Business as Penner Ash Wine Cellars. On their Facebook, it might be Penner Ash, just Penner Ash. On a different platform, it might be Penner Ash Winery. Same thing with their phone number. A lot of businesses and wineries are included in this, will choose to have different phone numbers to track information. On their website, they might have one phone number. On their Google My Business, they might have another phone number. On their Facebook, they might have a third phone number. They're trying to figure out where these phone calls are coming from. And while that's great for tracking, Google's seeing that as inconsistent. It's saying, okay, this business has a couple different names. It has a couple different phone numbers. If I show this business to a potential user typing for a winery near me, and they try to call, can we trust that that phone will actually ring and someone will pick up? Because there's all these different phone numbers. There's all these different names. And so having name, address, and phone number consistency is really, really important. It's underrated. And a lot of businesses forget about this and they don't even know about it. The second thing is writing comprehensive content. So for wineries, and here are examples from some of our clients, taking them from basically 0 organic visitors from Google each month to over 20,000 per month. And how we did this was through content. So think about the types of questions and queries that people are searching for when it comes to wine-related topics. They're curious about Pinot Noir. They're curious about how to taste it. They're curious about how the Pinot Noirs in Oregon are different from the Pinot Noirs in California. They're curious about, how the wines in Dundee or in the certain, certain growing areas in Oregon differentiate from one another. They might want to know about the floods that came through, the big floods in Oregon that changed the soil types and created such a fertile area. They have hundreds of questions that they're searching into Google about wine. And if you answer those questions with comprehensive content, you can potentially rank in Google for those queries, such as Pinot Noir versus, versus Tempranillo. Let's say hypothetically someone's searching for that. They're curious about the differences in the grapes, the differences in the type of wine, where the grapes are grown, all these different things. If you write a comprehensive piece of content explaining that information, your website could potentially rank in Google for that query. And now Google's seeing your site as more comprehensive in general. Google's saying, wow, this winery is answering dozens of questions that their target audience is searching for. Now we have more trust in their website over other local competitors. And so for the sake of this video, I'll end it there. Again, there are dozens of other strategies that you should consider. If you'd like a free SEO audit, you can go to portlandseogrowth.com, portlandseogrowth.com, and we provide a free audit. It's not like the other audits out there where some machine kind of spits out information at you. It's actually someone on our team spending an hour looking at your website, looking at all these things, and providing actionable tips for you. So go to portlandseogrowth.com if you're interested. And thanks so much for watching the video.